Hey guys, how are you? I'm excited to be on here tonight. Okay, so of course I am a little late. Go figure. But yeah, I'm excited to be on here tonight because I have a lot to talk about with you guys. So I'm excited to be on here. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP. And I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So becoming the CEO of your IEP meeting is a big thing to take on, and it's scary and it's frustrating and it's a process to really get to that point. And I get that. I really do. I've been there, I've done that, and I'm still doing it. So, I always say, even though my daughter has a really good IEP, that does not mean that I'm not in the trenches with you. I am. So just know that. And when I mean I'm in the trenches with you, it means that the schools don't always adhere to the IEP. You know that. I know that, and the schools also, don't always do what they're supposed to do. That's putting it lightly, right? So, what I'm saying to you is not only do I have the experience to advocate for parents and be that person for them, that support system that we all need, but the fact that I've been there and done that and been there and done that again, I think has a lot to say for itself versus just having the certification of being an advocate or, being trained under rights law or being trained under COPA and their process. I feel like I gained the most experience, to be quite honest, with my own situation and dealing with it with other parents and being in it. So it's like going to college until you have, that experience of doing your job and what you went to school for. It's just knowledge, right? So with that said, if you are new to watching me live, definitely post a 1 below. I know I'm late. I apologize. It's been a crazy day today, guys. It's been a crazy day. Yes, Sky?
Mom, what you doing?
I'm on live.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
you too.
I always let her interrupt me if she needs to because then it calms down the meltdowns. Okay, so I love doing what I do and I love helping parents. And today I've been just so crazy and quite overwhelmed with all I've had on my plate. I've literally back to back to back to calls. So, with that said, I apologize again for being late. So, post a 1 below if you're new. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Say hi. Tell me who you are. And if you haven't ever jumped over to the group to see how amazing that is and how personable it is and how people come together and really communicate with each other, definitely hop over to the group if you haven't already. All right. So, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about services. I've noticed, in a poll that I posted, I talked about, services or how to talk so the team will listen. I posted about behaviors. I posted about goals and so on and so forth. And I noticed that the number one ranking thing was services. So I'm going to talk a lot about that. Before I get into that, I want you guys to know Wednesday in 2 days is my live webinar. It's free. It's right online, but you have to register for it. Okay. So if you haven't registered for it, please post below and I will post the link. And if you haven't set up with a discovery call with me, please do that too. If you're wanting to just kind of gain more knowledge, figure out what's going on, and kind of put your situation into perspective, definitely do that as well. It's free. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about services. We did this a little bit last week. We did. But let's talk about it a little more. Okay. So again, post a 1 below if you're new, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Okay. Just say hi. Tell me who you are. I truly, truly want to get to know you. I hope you can feel that energy because I really do. And again, if you're not over on the group, please go over there because it's different than the page. I go live here on the page, but over on the group, it's just more personal, if that makes sense. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Jesse. How are you? Welcome, Rachel. Welcome. So let's just hop into it. All right. So services and accommodations and modifications and support. All right, so let's talk about that for a second. Oh, okay, it's fine. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Tara. So let's just talk about that. So many parents want to know, like, how do I know, like, what to ask for? How do I know, that that's the right thing to ask for? The school systems aren't telling me. And believe me, they're not going to pick up the phone and give you a call and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that your child would really benefit and their needs would be met if they had A, B, and C. Don't expect that phone call. I mean, I wish, just like you wish, that that would come, but it's not, ever. Okay? So what I'm saying is, in my course, and I'm not selling my course here. If you want my course, you can have my course. If you don't, you don't, and that's totally fine with me. But I'm going to tell you what I teach in my course, and I'm never going to stop that. So if you don't like it, get off my page. So what I'm going to tell you is, in my course, I teach all my students about what they need to do from the beginning. All right? I bring them back to the beginning. And let me tell you, I cannot tell you how much opposition and questions I've had, and why do I have to do this? And, what if I had one last year? And all these different kinds of things come at me. Okay. But once I explain it, they get it. All right. And there's a reason that you have to go back to the baseline. There's a reason you have to go back to the basics. There's a reason you have to go back that place to start over. Now, starting over for everybody is scary. Even if you're 3 years into the IEP, 4, 5, 6 years into the IEP, it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you right here and now, whether you want to hear it or not, it doesn't matter. You have to go back there. If you want a fresh start, if you want something more, something better, you have to go back there. I promise you. Okay? When I say that I have a success rate, I'm not just, what do people call it? Tooting their own horn or whatever. I don't do that. I do this because I want to help parents. Okay? So tooting my own horn or not, I want to help you. So I don't care what you want to call it. Bottom line, if you don't go back there, you're going to fail. You're going to hit walls. You may have a good IEP, but you may have a good IEP, you may fail. You may have a good IEP, you may fail. You may have a good IEP, you may fail. Why not start completely over where I tell you where to start and clean slate and do it in the right way with the right process, knowing what you need to do, how you need to do it, what you need to ask for, and actually studying your child, going through what I call the hunt and gather and doing it freaking right. I can't tell you, my frustration comes from how many parents I talk to, and they're like, oh, this is what I hear all the time, guys. Oh, I didn't know that. Or I'll hear, well, I did this and this and this and this. What do you mean? And I'll say, well, because da da da, and there's a reason for my madness. There's a reason for the things that I say that has to change your mindset so that you are taken back a couple notches so that you actually progress even more so in the right way so that you can get things done. I was going over in my course, I go live every day, every other day to answer questions, and they post under a certain area. And there was a question in regards to an email. Hey, can you check out this email? Tell me what you think. And I'm more of a writer, and then I edit, and my brain thinks that way. But I'm trying to respond to this email and tell her the certain wording. I even Googled a word in regards to what is more so in this word, because those are the types of words that I use in emails. So they're more substantial. I also use verbiage that counts for something that they're going to take seriously, whether it be bullying or, an imperative word that will go a long way, if that makes sense. So when I teach how to know what types of services, without even having an evaluation yet, what types of services you need to be looking at, to be focused on, to be considering, it's all about studying your child. And I talk about, it's not about studying them where you're like, I know my child. What do you mean? I'm not talking about what their favorite food, their favorite color, what their favorite thing to do is. What I'm talking about is really studying them. What are they lining up in a row? What makes them have a complete meltdown? Where are those meltdowns? Why do you believe those meltdowns are where they are? So I go into depth about all the questions that you have to ask yourself to dig deep into the situation so that you can come up with a solid conclusion as to why and what is happening and for what reason. Once that's established in the multiple different areas that you are going to have to study them, there's not just one way, then you're able to kind of dissect, okay, well, my child really struggles with, speech and language in regards to they can speak, they can talk in full sentences, but their sentences aren't clear, or why is not being responded to in the way it should be. There could be minimal issues versus, oh, my child's nonverbal, and then you just know that they're needing speech, right? Or your child doesn't appear to have certain characteristics that would throw you straight towards OT, but sensory in general is OT and ABA. For example, my daughter, and I use her a lot along with other children, but I just don't use their names, had and has a lot of sensory issues. Does your child ever come home maybe from school and they completely break down because the transition was just too much on them? And so they go from school to home and then bam, this huge breakdown because the transition was too much. It caused a huge sensory overload to where they just needed that decompression where the transition didn't go to. Okay, so going from school to home, huge transition. These are the behavior issues that are presenting themselves. This is more than likely why, and this is what could help. Okay, so with transitions, with sensory, with that type of arena is solely ABA and OT. Okay, something that helps a lot. I talk a lot about this because it's actually really fabulous training. Is astronaut training, all right? And it's a way in which to help children figure out where they are in space. And it's a training that is so amazing. It works. I can tell you hands down, it works. I can't say that it helps every child. I don't usually say every, always, or never, but I can say that it's very successful across the board, not just with my child, but with multiple children across the board. It has a very high success rate. And there's a way in which to change it up if need be. And I love it. It's great. And I've seen it work for a lot of kids in reference to sensory transitions and that sort of thing. Overload, where they're just overstimulated and you get this complete meltdown where you're just like, oh my God, kill me now. That type of meltdown. And we all, as parents, have felt that way. I remember, early on, I used to be so embarrassed by that feeling of, feeling certain things, not meaning it, but just feeling certain things. And then I couldn't verbalize it because people would judge me. I don't care anymore. I really don't. And so I need you to get there too. Because you know what? We're all human. We all think things that maybe we shouldn't think. But it's our feelings. It's how we are as people. And people need to understand that people are people. We're imperfect. And we have thought processes that may not be what is ideal. And that's okay. And we have to learn to be okay with what's not okay all the time, especially in the world of special education, and especially in the world of, we're judged. Parents are judged a lot. Parents are judged by if you immunize or if you don't immunize, if you, nurse or you don't nurse. It's so ridiculous that it's like, stay in your own lane, worry about what you got to worry about and be you, and don't worry about what everybody else does, and that's just how I think. You think how you think, I think how I think. But I just feel like, there's so much judgment out there that I've just realized that I got to say screw it, and I got to be me and be happy to be me. And if people want to judge, that's on them, not me. And I'm okay with that. And you got to be okay with that too. Okay? So when you study your child, you'll really, really start to mentally picture, which is why vision boards are so amazing. I say create a vision board for your goals for your child. So you'll have this vision board, and I'll show you mine. I'll bring it live sometime, okay? It's a big, huge poster board of a vision of what I see for Skylar and what I want for her, okay? So it says Skylar's vision board, or Mommy's vision board for Skylar. And then I posted all these things that I want for her. I posted that I want her to have OT, PT, and speech and all the services that she needs. But I also posted things like, I want her to get a job, and I want her to, excel at things. And I don't care what that is. If she's a dishwasher, I don't care. I don't care what it is she does, as long as she can, live in this world and adapt and just be, because she's an amazing person. And so that's how we have to think when we think about services. So I always say, start where you want to end and work your way backwards. Okay? So whatever it is in your vision for your child that you want your child to be at and where you want them to strive to be, then you need to work your way backwards as to what is going to help them get there. All right? Don't take the school's advice. Don't take anybody else's advice. Don't call your friends. Don't take my advice. Take your own advice, all right? What is it that you, as a parent who knows your child better than anybody, more than me, more than anybody else, it could be your best friend, it doesn't matter. You know your child better than anybody. So you need to be the one that really sits down and thinks. I don't care if you cry. I don't care if you meditate. I don't care if you do yoga and think about it. I don't care what you do, but you need to think really hard about what it is where it is that you want your child to get, and then work backwards. And then think in your head, okay, I think that my child would really benefit from speech because she's having a hard time articulating certain words, okay? Or it can be, it doesn't have to be nonverbal, It doesn't have to be like a lisp. It doesn't have to be, a lot of kids who don't even have special needs need speech because they are bilingual, And so it doesn't matter what the need base is or how desperate the need is or how intensive the need is. If it's a need, it's a need. It's a need. It's kind of like it is what it is, what it is, right? So think about it like that. PT, obviously, that has to be with that. It's along the lines of the physicality of the child. Where are they with that? Are they having muscular dystrophy, or are they having different disabilities as far as that's concerned? Where it's obviously apparent that there is sincere and significant need. But it doesn't have to be significant. It can be as small as, low muscle tone. Needs physical therapy, okay, to strengthen the muscle. That's not a huge issue. They can still run, they can still jump, they can do all these things. But they are limited in how well they can do it. But that's still a need in reference to PT. Okay? So just start thinking outside the box. Think about where you want your child to go and work your way backwards as far as the need you know. Okay? Now, things that you may not know is ABA. All right? And you can agree and disagree, that's fine. I love ABA if it's done right. Okay? If it's done right. Let me say that again. All right? Some parents do not agree with the fact that ABA can be intensive. It can be forceful in some areas. For example, when my daughter went through intensive potty training when she was 4, that was a no choice. That was, you're gonna do this, okay? It was intensive therapy. It was mental breakdowns. And I was prepared for it and I was okay with it. But there's some parents that are just not there, and that's okay. So you have to feel comfortable with what you want. But you also have to get comfortable being uncomfortable with what's going to be best for them. Okay? So you have to just open your minds and realize this isn't about you. It's about them and what's going to be best for them. It's in the same line of if your child should be mainstreamed. Some people call it inclusion. It's not a special needs word at all. It's a word that was brought out by teachers and the public. But inclusion is not an idea. But bottom line, it's mainstreamed into the general education classroom. So if that's what you're wanting for your child, if that's the best place for them, then go for it. But if your child does not learn in a special, or let me take that back. If your child doesn't learn in a general ed classroom and they learn in a more special classroom, like a more inclusive classroom, a more restrictive classroom, then that's okay. So, dependent on your child, let them learn where they best learn. If that's in a more restrictive classroom, so what? If it's in a more general ed classroom, then awesome. But even if it's a more restrictive classroom, what that can mean is they're going to learn, which is what they're supposed to do in school, guys. And then in art and music and lunch and all these different areas, they can still have that socialization and in the general public. So, if you will, if that's what you want to call it. Okay? So, don't think that because your child learns best in a more restrictive environment that they're going to lose out on all socialization. That's not true. But if they learn better there, doesn't it make more sense to put them there? And not feel bad that that's where they're learning if they learn better in a one-on-one environment or a more restrictive environment with a smaller capacity of people. That's okay. So I want you to be open to the various different choices in which you have. And those choices should be made based off what is best for them. In the education world, you have to use the words what's needed and appropriate. But in your words and my words, it's what's best. What is best for my child? And if my child learns in a more restrictive environment, which she does, mine does, then I want her taught on a one-on-one basis. And then she is mainstream for, PE and lunch and art and electives. She even goes to home ec. Okay? So you have to be open to the various different opportunities that they have, and you have to know about them, obviously. And if you don't, there's people like me or somebody else that can hopefully help you. Okay? And so it's important to just have an open mind to these things. And it's important to know that you know deep down what the services are. And I am taking your guys' word, and you know what? This is the page. So you guys, if you haven't gone over to the group, that's where the poll is. I just realized that. The poll is over on the group. So the poll was, I heard everybody of where it is they wanted the most help. And the most help was wanted in regards to what supports can my child have? What services can my child have? What services does my child qualify for? All these different things. And so I'm going to create something for you, specifically for you, in regards to, okay, it's a no-brainer. Here we go. This is, my child needs this. My child needs this. My child needs this. So I'm going to create that for you guys, and I'm going to hopefully have it ready by the end of April. So it is in the process. I'm watching how the poll's doing between the 1 and 2. They're kind of hand in hand, so I'm not sure which one's going to win. But I am putting something together because I do see there's a need for it, and I understand that it's a hard thing to dissect. And if you had, okay, here's the breakdown. Here's what you need to look at. Here's what you need to do, and here's how you go for it. 1, 2, 3, right? So 1, here's what you need to look at. 2, here's what you need to do, and 3, bam, go for it. Okay? Yes, dear. You want to give me a hug?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be done in just a minute. Okay? I love you. Well, I'm gonna see you in just a minute. Okay? Okay. So I just want you guys to know that because it's coming. All right. But also, if you have not gotten registered for the webinar this Wednesday, 2 days, today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all right, 8 p.m., register now, okay? I cannot believe, last time it was registered crazy, and this time it's registered crazy too. So it's the 3 common and costly mistakes you can make before an IEP meeting, and plus ESY, the fight, how to get it, and why your child needs it right now this summer. No joke. Okay, your child needs it this summer. Someone, I had put a Facebook ad out, and a lady had asked, you talk about ESY, and I said yes. And she said, she's a teacher, she's a special ed teacher. And she said, I'd love to join your group. I'd like to learn more to be able to help parents better. I said, that'd be wonderful. I said, I have a lot of special education parents on my group. And she said, so what are your thought processes on ESY? Do you think all parents should have it? And I said, I don't think all parents should have it because, again, I don't use all, always, never, but I do feel that most children with special needs need ESY. And she said, well, why? And I said, well, I think, in my opinion, and with my experience of 13 plus years and as an educator, I think that all children with special needs need it because they need to be able to maintain where they're at currently, and most children with special needs will cap and go backwards on a couple things because they are not able to stay consistent in what they're doing unless they're physically doing it. Good night. Huh? You have good dreams too, Sky. And they're not, really in tune with where they should be. Okay? And so a lot of parents don't realize that, hey, my child could actually get ESY. And guess what? My child does not actually have to adhere to the 3 to 4 hours that the school system says that they offer. That my child could actually get full-time ESY during the summer. That can happen? Really? Yes, it actually can, guys. And it's not just, oh, we only offer it for 3 to 4 hours a day, so that's all your child can qualify for. No, ESY is just like an IEP. It can be catered to that child however that may be. My child gets on, she doesn't get on the bus anymore. She actually has private transportation. She's picked up at 7:30 in the morning. She does not get home till 6 p.m. at night. Why? Because she goes to school, then she goes and is transferred to the ABA clinic and does hours of ABA after school. Because that's what I fought for. Okay? And you got to fight for whatever it is you need to fight for. And if you need the process, then that's what I'm here for. And so I said to her, I said, yeah, all kids with special needs should have, ESY, because why allow them to even be in the position to regress? Because schools will say, oh, your child hasn't regressed yet. Well, hey, you don't know yet because you haven't put them in ESY yet. And guess what? They're where they were in the beginning when they start school. And most children with special needs are not where they were the year before, right when they start school. They have to actually catch up that first 9 weeks. All right? Tell me I'm wrong. Right? So, and a lot of parents will actually pay privately for ABA and all these other different things during the summer because the school won't offer it when the school should. It's the school's job to make sure that those children maintain where they are at the very last day of school. And most children with special needs, from my experience of 13 plus years, do not maintain and start the beginning of school where they left off that last day. There is some regression, always. It may not be huge, it may not be a huge gap, but the whole point of ESY is for no regression to take place. And the school system does not know that regression will take place because they haven't tried it yet. But that they'll make excuses based off goals that things are being worked on. Things are progressing. Have you ever gotten a progress report where it says, it's basically no information for you, but it says, child is progressing gradually towards goal, or child is gradually progressing towards goal. It's the stupidest shit, all right? That's not telling me anything. When a progress report is supposed to be more in depth, it's supposed to say child is at 30% of 80% of goal. Like if 80% is where they're supposed to be by that period of time, then the school needs to say on the progress report, the child is at 40%, the child is at 50%, wherever it is that they are, and they need to be detailed as to where that child is, what needs to happen to get them to where they need to be, and why. Not just child is progressing towards goal. That's not a progress report. That tells me nothing. Okay? And by law, per IDEA, you are entitled to a progress report every 9 to 12 weeks whenever your school system gives out report cards. And your progress report needs to be detailed. It needs to be your child. Okay, so if you have SMART goals, if you don't, please contact me. It drives me nuts. If you have SMART goals and it says your child will be at 90%, 80%, or they will do 9 out of 10 times in such and such, whatever the goal is. All right. So if your child is not at, say, 30, 40, 50% and progressing each progress report towards that end of the year goal, then something's wrong. Okay? There's something going on. And if you're told that, oh, your child is progressing towards that end goal, what does that tell you? If your end goal, say it's your child would be at 85%. If your end goal is 85% and you have no idea in any of the progress reports where they are other than the school says they're progressing, what does that tell you? Nothing. It's the school giving you half-assed answers towards something that is so important. So important. Goals are huge, huge. That's the whole point of being in school, is to learn. And those goals are their way in which to learn in the right way, and the goals that are accommodated for them to accomplish. So if you're just hearing, oh, they're progressing, that doesn't tell me anything. They're progressing towards what? Which goal? And how are they progressing? How much are they progressing? And if they're not progressing, then why? There's so many questions that go into this. You see? All right. So hopefully that enlightens you on a little bit of what you need to ask for, why you need to pay attention to it, and why it's important. This is just tip of the week. This isn't even content night. This is just tip of the week. But I want you guys to see the substance that needs to be put into goals, number one. And number two, the substance that needs to be put into your gut of what your child truly needs, because you know. And if you're not sure of, if you know, so for example, if you know my child has this issue and this issue, just ask. You can PM me anytime. My child has this and this, what would you suggest? Is that OT, PT, speech? I'm not sure. Don't feel stupid, because you're not. Just ask, and be okay with not knowing and learning, And if you haven't registered for the darn webinar on Wednesday, please do that. And if you're just hopping on now, please post a 1 below if you're new, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, and please join the group because it's amazing and I love it and it's awesome. I think we had 45 people join today. Pretty awesome. I don't think I've ever had under 120 people join in a week. And I'm telling you that because I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing. And I'm super excited that, this is something that is truly something that I've chosen to do, which took a lot, believe it or not. I know that I'm very vocal, and I am transparent, and I just keep it real, whether you like me or not. It's totally up to you. And I've found that the need is so huge that I cannot tell you how good I feel every day. It's crazy that it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I am truly making a difference in other people's lives by helping their children get what they need. Because I've been through it. I've been in the effed up mess of it, and I get it. So I'm so glad that you guys watch me. I'm glad you guys catch me live. I'm glad that you guys catch me when I'm not live. And so many of you have called me and said, I've been watching you for 4 months, and I haven't said anything because I just haven't. But hey, here I am now. And I think that's awesome. So thank you. I really, truly appreciate all your kind words and thoughts. So with that said, again, post a 1 below if you're new, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, say hello, join the group, and hopefully you got a lot out of the tip of the week tonight, and I hope that it made a difference. And know that over on the group where the poll is going on, and if you're not part of the group, go over and just at least register for the poll and tell me what you want, and then get off if you don't want to be part of the group. But yes, I am creating a little tiny program, nothing huge, but something that's going to be of substance to you and going to be an eye-opener of, I wish I knew this, but it's going to be something super simple and super easy and not take a lot of your time, which we're all busy, right? So join the webinar on Wednesday. I hope to hear you and see you. At the end, I'm going to do a live Q&A, and I hope I see you there. All right, so register. I'll post the link below. If you ever want to schedule a discovery call, I'll post that below too. So it's been nice talking to you guys tonight. Let me say hi to everybody. All right, so hey Jessie, I think I said hi to you, and Rachel, and Tara, and Nikki, my students. I love you guys. And then Ruby, hello, and Kelly, hello, and hey Cheryl, and Christina. Hi Tita, how are you? Welcome. And hey Christina, and Leanne, and Amanda, and Faye, hello, and Hernandez, hey girl, how are y'all? All right, so I will talk to you guys soon, and definitely post below if you have any questions. If you're just catching the replay and you have any questions, totally fine. I will answer them, and I want you guys to have a good night. Take care.